Welcome to CBS This Morning. Defense Secretary Ash Carter admits he used his personal email account for some government work. Secretary Carter just talked with our Charlie D'Agata in Iraq. He said he didn't use the personal account for classified information. Hillary Clinton faced heavy criticism for using her personal email when she was Secretary of State.
Now, this email news broke overnight as Carter focused on the fight against ISIS during his unannounced visit to Iraq. Charlie D'Agata is in Erbil with the interview you'll see only on CBS This Morning. Charlie, good morning.
Good morning. We met with the Secretary of Defense here in northern Iraq, and before we could go much further, we had to discuss the topic of his email accounts. We asked him why he continued to use his personal account even after his government account had been issued, and here's what he had to say.
What I did that I shouldn't have been doing until a few months ago was occasionally use my iPhone to send administrative messages, no classified information and backed up as records, but to my immediate staff. And even that I shouldn't have been doing. And when I realized that, I stopped. But this is, I have to hold myself to absolutely strict standards in terms of cybersecurity and doing things that are appropriate. I didn't in this case. It's a mistake, and it's entirely my own.
From there, we moved on to the reason the defense secretary is here, and that's to address the U.S. presence in the region and what they're doing with local forces in the fight against ISIS. We've just returned from Syria. We spoke to commanders there. They said, yes, we're talking about coordination on the ground, but really, U.S. Special Operations Forces will see for themselves that we don't need training or equipment. We need heavy artillery. We need armored vehicles. We need anti-tank weapons to match the firepower against ISIS. Is that under discussion?
Everything is on the table to accelerate the defeat of ISIL. That's the reason why I'm here, because I'm talking to our commanders first and foremost, also to the Iraqi government, to Kurdish officials here in Erbil, about how we can accelerate the defeat of ISIL, both in Iraq and in Syria.
I guess the best way to describe the situation in Syria is chaotic. At one point, we reached the front line only to find a handful of guys, some of them teenagers, trying to guard this line in the fog. And some places we couldn't get to because they were too dangerous, not because they were fighting ISIS, but because they were fighting each other. Gail?
Boy, thank you very much, Charlie D'Agata in Iraq.